Yeah, the music's finished. Sorry. While that was playing, because I can hear it now because I changed something on my laptop. I'm singing the Going Live song while it's going live. It's not very good. It's just me going live over and over again. Hey, it is. It feels like a Sunday. It's a Tuesday, but because we had a public holiday in Melbourne, and I'm going to work tomorrow, so it feels like a Sunday. And hello, Megaleech, Safa, and Chris. Good evening, good morning, good day to you all, or whatever may be the most time appropriate greeting for you when you happen to be watching. Yes, it is. It's much brighter out there. Like I said, in about a month, it'll be light for the whole first hour of a stream. So, and then it'll slowly start to get darker again. And then we'll get daylight saving switch, and then it'll be much darker. But hey, that is the change of seasons. Oh, nice stuff. You went to a Thai restaurant with your brother and his wife. Nice. Taking advantage of the bloody no community transmission in regional Victoria and almost none in Melbourne. We had another double donut day. So exciting. After all the fucking shit, to be in a position where you can have reasonable confidence, and I only say reasonable, but you can have reasonable confidence that this shit's not going to get out of control again until some fuckwit says we should allow overseas travelers in and not give them a 2-week quarantine. Because who'd want to come here on a holiday if you had to spend 2 weeks inside a hotel room? Kirsten Hellion, hello to you. Is that what we're calling the election, Megaleech? A referendum on the US people. We get to find out if they fucked you or not. Yes. Chris got National Guard deployed everywhere. Downtown Portland's a ghost town. God damn. Yeah. Chris, if the US was any other country, the US would be saying the United Nations should be sent in to get shit in order. But we'll see. We'll see what the next couple of days bring. If anything, don't know how long it's going to take to get a strong indication of the result. In some ways, the nightmare scenario that you could argue in some ways is worse than a clear Trump victory is a very difficult to determine victory for either person, a contested result, essentially. In some ways, the tension and furor that would cause could be worse than a strong Trump win. So hopefully it's a strong Biden win, not a just barely Biden win or fucking be all sorts of shit. Safa, never trust polls. We have learned particularly in the last 4 years, on very important topics, near unanimous polls can be very, very wrong. And I'm a firm believer that nice things don't happen anymore. So brace yourselves is what I'm saying. Brace yourselves. Yeah, so I think the civil war concept in the US is well overstated. If Trump loses, his idiot supporters will get loud, and I think there will be some violent incidents. I also think it will fade away. That's my tip. And let's get ready for me to be wrong. Oh, God, the stove's making its noise. It just annoys the shit out of me. I have to go over and hit a button. There we go. Chris, as I was saying, in my humble opinion, the only way Trump could cause trouble for Biden is if Biden doesn't get a resounding victory. If Biden gets in terms of electoral college votes, like a one state, if there's one state that if it flipped either way, Biden wouldn't have won, then that's going to give Trump license to be a complete fuckwit. Salford, does the current president have the right to call win if he has the most votes before the opponent? The polite thing in elections is if someone thinks they've lost the election, they call to concede rather than the winner announcing they're the winner. And so you notice I said the polite thing. So in other words, the opposite of Trump. Oh, see, Mega Leech, there's a question that I think there is a very big difference between what Trump, so if Trump loses, I think there's a very big difference between what Trump will say and what Trump will do. What Trump will say is it was rigged, that there was cheating, that there was, he'll say 20 just appallingly stupid things that are all untrue. But I don't think he's going to want to contest it. I don't think he's going to actually cause a scene in a real way. He's going to leave, and then he's going to take his idiot show on the road, where he keeps doing all these public rallies which beef up his ego, and fuckwits will keep giving him money. I think he'll keep doing rallies and public appearances and trying to get a media gig with a media gig, and just say the whole time he really won. It was it was stolen, it was a scam, it was corruption, fake news, blah, 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 blah. I believe he will say that forever. But I don't think he will actually cause trouble if it's a clear win to Biden. But he'll keep saying it wasn't a legitimate election simply because, that's his shtick. That's what he says to the rubes to get them to give him money. Yes, Safa, I'm sure all the presidential votes for Putin are completely legitimate. You reckon Trump will be in the lead at the end of the day? I don't make predictions because there's been too many cases of rather momentous votes where there was extremely strong opinions across the board of what the result would be, and then the result was the opposite. So I don't make predictions. Other people have predicted a Biden win, but if you're not bracing yourself for a Trump win, I think you're setting yourself up for a world of hurt. I'd much rather be pleasantly surprised than horribly disappointed. So yes, in simple terms, if you're if you're not bracing yourself for a Trump win, you might be setting yourself up for some quite severe psychological trauma, honestly. So we shall see. We shall see which way this goes. Yep, I'm afraid I decided quite a while ago. Predicting things was a mug's game. So sorry, I'm just checking what this looks like on my phone. Was a mug's game. Very pale and washed out. I'm just checking what this looks like on my phone. That's better than it has other times. No, stop that. Go away. All right, now I know. It's Trump doing a Palpatine episode 3. I am the Senate. Doing that impassioned speech. I love democracy. One of the funniest things I saw, like the official Star Wars account tweeted like a Rebel Alliance logo and just, vote. Get out and vote for the right. And someone quote tweeted it and said, "Yes, vote. There's two very exciting candidates." And the pictures they posted were Emperor Palpatine and Chancellor Palpatine, like after being, looking all monstrous after being force ravaged by Mace Windu, and Chancellor Palpatine looking like the benevolent elder statesman, which I thought was fucking hilarious, honestly. Hey, Abigail, good evening to you. And Michael, you're just going to let your opinion out among friends. True. It's a safe space. You can voice any opinion. Well, within bounds, of course. And just in really boring conversational gambits. If you're in Melbourne, hasn't it been much warmer than anticipated for the last couple of days? It's been really warm. I think it's been like at least 5 degrees warmer than the predictions were saying it would be. So what are the predictions for the rest of the week, actually? Boom. What do you have to say? Currently 27. Yeah, I don't think that was I think the predicted high was about 21, 22. Tomorrow's predicted maximum is 22. But a change is coming through. It's going to rain, and they expect the temperature to drop quite a bit. And then maybe we have a nice Sunday after 4 days of rain. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows indeed? Nice, Chris. Might have a date lined up on the weekend. Nice. Abigail, you reckon it got up to 31 today? It was bloody warm, and it was at least 5 degrees more than they were saying it was. Oh no, Kirsten, not allowed to watch TikTok before bed because you have terrible Nazi nightmares. That is terrible. That's not good at all. Safa, 27 Celsius is normal for your part of the world. It's once we get into summer, 27's normal. Spring is usually under 25. Some's like mid-20s to mid-30s, except for the exceptionally hot days where it shoots past 40, and then that normally stays around for a fucking week, because why not, Melbourne? What the fuck? Nobody, good evening to you. Oh, no. Yes, Chris, crucial advice from Abigail. Make sure the person you're on the date with knows that you think it's a date. She had the rather unfortunate experience there. Mitchell Mace, hello, how are you? Yeah, Megalich, I also don't know why Kirsten is subscribed to so many Nazis on TikTok. That's a choice. That is a choice. It's a dubious choice, but, this is a thing that happens. Still, the funniest thing ever on TikTok is Zoomers ripping on millennials. Fuck me, that's funny. This generational shit happens all the time. And when you first get to the age where you realize a younger generation thinks you're old and uncool, oh my God. Oh, that's such a milestone. That is such a milestone. You go, oh no, I'm an actual adult. Younger generation thinks I'm old and boring. Hellshade, you live in America? Oh yeah, suspense. Oh God, dude, why do your fucking election campaigns go on for so long? Years. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Kirsten, you're mostly fighting the Nazis to get your Neflings. That's fair. That's fair. Nobody, did you share before, even on Sunday, church you offended Jews, offended the entire church band. They're looking forward to tearing the bitch a new one. Excellent. It's good to know it's not just you, man. It's good to know that it's just an awful person. Safa, what's considered old? That depends who is asking. It's in simple terms, particularly for teenagers, anyone 10 years older or even 5 years older can seem very old. You know, generational difference is usually 15, 20 years. Like someone whose age is 15, 20 years or more different to you, whether they're younger or older, that is normally a very different person with a very different worldview. That sort of generational difference of 15 or 20 years. And, but yeah, when you think someone's old, it probably depends how old you are. Celeste, crazy, dramatic, corny sounds. Election symbolizes a fight between good and evil. Honestly, yes. Well, if I was being a bit more cynical, it's like a fight between ultimate depravity and chaos and relative normalcy, with all the suckiness that relative normalcy has. I have a slightly more revolutionary outlook than that, and business as usual seems like a fucking shit deal to me, particularly since, you know, the neoliberals have been fucking everything since the 80s. It's interesting how much that's crossed party lines. So-called conservative and progressive political parties have been pushing the same economic fucking bandwagon since the 80s. It's wild. So if your sister's 9 years younger, I think there's between 15 and 20 years age difference between the youngest and oldest in my family. Maybe do you think the US citizens should lock down for a week just to make sure they're safe? And, you know, watch Mad Max Fury Road as an educational video as to what you need to prepare for. Chris, the election feels like the Weimar Republic right before the Nazis took power. Trumpers will still be in power, you know. Yeah, police department, government seats, judges. Yeah, it's long. There is actually a very long fight to turn back Trumpism. Joanna, a fight between Dr. Evil and Basil Exposition. That is a nice one. That is a nice one. That's an interesting one, though, buddy. With economics, if you put the economy above humanity, they both lose. I agree with you. Thoroughly agree with you. Hellshade. Yeah, it's not so much that Trump's idiot supporters can't or won't see he's evil. When you, particularly the people who profess to be Christians, who weirdly worship someone who's obviously an atheist, but obviously also an incredibly immoral and sick and evil person. It's because Trump hates the same people they hate. He voices that hate. He validates their hate. So they willfully blind themselves to Trump's absolute fuckery, and they ignore the fact Trump's obviously lying to them, and just Trump hates who they hate, and that's all they want. And coming back later, you saw a guy from the Bush admin saying he was one of those guys making all those international deals without thinking about how everyone's going to lose out. Yes. So let's honestly hate to compare Nazi Hitler to what's happening now because it feels insensitive, harsh. Okay, I'm always recommending this podcast, Behind the Bastards, and he's done a couple of episodes tracing the rise of the Nazis, how the people who were in power before the Nazis helped the Nazis to rise to power, and how ordinary Germans helped the Nazis rise to power. The parallels are fucking terrifying, quite honestly. Mitchell, yes, the USA has an electoral college. So no matter what the actual vote is, the people who run the electoral college for that state, who have a certain number of votes, say, based on the vote, we distribute our electoral college votes to blah. Now, technically, they should give it to the person who won the most votes. But there's all sorts of weird shit where they're not actually compelled to. And of course, because the Electoral College disproportionately favours smaller states that are often also the more conservative states, they have more power that way. So I think Trump doesn't seem American. Trump's an authoritarian. And he plays the rubes like a fiddle. Like, he's like, I'm one of you. Like, probably no one has more contempt for Trump's supporters than Trump does. Like, he must walk away from those fucking rallies just laughing, just like, what the fuck is it with those pig ignorant people that they think I give a fuck about them? I reckon he just laughs. Nobody. A fact about right-wing Christians. Equivalent of right-wing leaders of today who demanded Christ crucifixion. That is an absolutely excellent point, nobody. It was the religious leaders, the conservative religious leaders who saw Christ as a threat to their power, who really pushed the Romans for execution. That's the thing. Power, people will do terrible things to hold on to it. Trump is a Putin wannabe, you think? But he adores Putin. He loves Putin's strongman shit. And he has definitely modeled himself on that. He's failed, but he definitely loves that shit. Yes, Mega Leech. In theory, the Electoral College elector is meant to give the votes to the candidate that people choose, but they're not actually compelled to. So yes. And that's not even the problem. The problem is tiny population states having a disproportionate number of Electoral College votes. That's the problem. That is the problem. So as you say, in the USA, a lot of Biden supporters are in Texas, but you don't represent out loud like Trump's do, mainly because you don't like the choice of Biden either. People might get surprised by how strong the Biden vote is in Texas. Texas has been edging towards having more Democrat voters than Republican voters. People, then again, who knows? Like I said, I don't predict, it's a mug's game, but people might get surprised at the strength of the Biden vote in Texas. Yes, you're right, nobody. Trump would have been screaming the loudest for Christ to be executed. Oh, yeah, Hellshade. Trump loves the dictators. He fucking loves them. Putin and Duterte. And, okay, I think Duterte's election was legitimate. It's just he's a fucking deranged authoritarian. And I think, I don't know that well, but I think Bolsonaro's election in Brazil was legitimate, but he's a straight up fascist. Like that, not even as a name calling thing. He reveres fascists of the past and very aggressively pushes core fascist ideology. So, yeah. Oh, God, suffer. Imagine an Al Gore president. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe it would have been a tiny thing like Gore actually read and took into account a briefing that landed on his desk that said Bin Laden determined to strike in the US and actually focused on it as a question of foreign policy and security. You know, maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Certainly, it's not impossible, but it's less likely that Gore would have instigated the illegal war that Bush and Cheney did. But Bobo, good evening to you. I actually did see that thing of Trump was going after a Biden bus. Speaking of fucking totalitarianism. Saha, talk about the Libs' fake federal ICAC. Are they doing anything? Because they've just rejected the idea altogether Obviously, if they start to make concessions, it's going to be something that has no power. And who does that? Who does that when you say, there should be an independent body that can investigate corruption in government, public service, police force, things like that? Who argues passionately against that apart from someone who's corrupt? As in, Sellers, you're not an anxious person. Dude, I'm just throwing dude around like I'm from California. The anxiousness, the stress is real. I'm not surprised you sort of feel sick inside. Yeah, and you got people boarding up stores, National Guard, all that sort of shit. It's crazy. Oh, I see. Yeah, Megalich, actually saw when someone had that big convoy of pickup trucks with Trump flags and just put it next to a photo of a convoy of pickup trucks with ISIS flags. And yeah, basically the motivation of both groups is exactly the fucking same. A really aggressive desire to wipe out people who disagree with them. So I will have to look up what the Liberals are proposing for a weaker's piss ICAC, because I have not heard about that. So I will have to share. You know what? I'm going to quickly. It's warm in here. I'm turning on the aircon just to cool the room down a bit. Hold on just a second. All right, I'm back. Abigail, you have American friends here who've shut down social media because of stress. That's self-care. That is a very sensible thing to do. Whereas, Chris, you're just sticking your head in the waterfall, absorbing it all. Just Bobo. Someone get the Dems to call Order 66 on the Republicans. Yeah, no, that's more a Republican trick, that one. So yeah, I will, because I got to work tomorrow when the first indications of voting is going to be coming out. I will probably be obsessively checking social media and news feeds while I'm at work, because I'll be freaking out as well. Yeah. Yes, this feels like a future of civilization vote this time. And of course, the real fear is the mood and infrastructure that Trump put in place doesn't go away with Trump. And if someone who is, as evil and fucked up as Trump, but more focused and more shrewd and more determined, and has seen what Trump did, and from their point of view, they'd probably think Trump wasted it. Someone determined to not waste it is really terrifying, and that is a demagogue we're talking about there. It's fucking scary. Yes, nobody. That was a bright spot. Queensland Labor winning, because it was very up in the air before the election. So is anyone having viewing get together for the elections? You're having friends and drinks? Yeah, we shall see. I did that at our last federal election, thinking the party I supported was going to win, and they didn't. I was doing a live stream. That was depressing as fuck. But anyway, still had a few drinks. Abigail, you're going to have CNN on? Yeah, I could. Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know what I'll be doing. We'll just see. Stella, you're up on the Red Hill filming the Salt Lake after the rains. Went back and looked at the live stream. It looked like it was filmed on a potato. That's a mobile phone for you, yes. Chris, you recommend having a non-network election stream to check. Cable outlet's going to be pretty outrageous. Yeah. I probably won't be looking at just one source. Probably look at public Twitter and see what's happening, and check a few different news sources to see what different people are saying. I will. It won't be as funny as seeing conservatives in the US, like, say Biden wins, particularly if Biden wins convincingly. The various right-wing talking heads in Australia are going to have a massive sook as well. Won't really compare to the US conservatives, but I will get some joy out of Australia's right-wing talking heads having chucking a huge wobbly. Mitchell Mace. Again, we have what is essentially a two-party system. Our system is essentially like US. We don't have a president. We have the equivalent of your Congress and the Senate, and the party that has the most seats or can form a coalition with a majority in the lower house, again, that's the equivalent of Congress, the leader of that party becomes prime minister. They head the government. So we don't vote for the head of government. You vote for a political party, knowing who would be the head of government if that political party wins. So there's not a separate vote. So of the two parties, the Labour Party is the rough equivalent of the Democrats, and the Liberal National Party coalition is the rough equivalent of the Republicans. Suffolk, yes, the attack in Vienna was horrible and gross, and fuck those people, and fuck the people who killed that teacher in France as well. Fuck anyone who uses their religion or culture as an excuse to be a fucking murderer. Fuck that shit. Chris, you're going to watch The Young Turks. You hear they may have progressive talk show host Kyle Kalinske and Alex Jones on with Joe Rogan. Wow. But I don't know. Would Alex Jones tone it down if he was with Joe Rogan? Would Joe Rogan turn his microphone off if he just started screaming and talking shit? Or would Joe Rogan just be really stoned and find it funny? I don't know. I do not know. That does sound pretty wild, though. Be interesting to see what happened with that. Funny thing, since Spotify paid Joe Rogan a fortune to have his podcast exclusively on Spotify, I never hear anyone talking about Joe Rogan podcasts anymore. Now, I assume Spotify is huge, and so I assume his audience is still huge. But it's interesting to me that I literally just do not hear people talking about Joe Rogan's podcast anymore, because it used to be on YouTube as well, and part of the deal for Spotify was to expunge it from YouTube as well, is my understanding. So I just don't hear people talking about Joe Rogan anymore. Yes, Chris, there was a visitor from the unknown getting an ice cream out of the freezer. So, Safa, if Australia had the US system and a president, what if it'd be harder for Scummo to be president of Australia? The thing is, that worthless fucking shit stain has just managed to get consistently higher approval ratings the longer he's been in office, despite the fact what an utter fuck up he is. Good night, Silas. I hope there is reason for you to be happy. in the next couple of days. Hey, speaking about being happy, segue time. I'm going to do a taste test in a bit, a whiskey taste test. Because if you've been paying attention, you know I've been getting a lot of Starwood products recently. But I just happened to be in a bottle shop. This is the thing. I kept saying I'm not going to buy any more booze. And then someone does this big special on something. And I'm like Al Pacino in Godfather 3. Every time I think I get out, they pull me back in. And there's a couple of times later, and it's because it's been like $30 off something that cost about $100. First, it was a bottle of rum, which turned out to be a really good bottle of rum. Second was Starwood Nova single malt whiskey, and just yesterday, I was in the supermarket, Coles, and happened to go to the bottle shop that's attached to the supermarket, and they had an upmarket American bourbon, Knob Creek, 100 proof bourbon for $30 off. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm getting that. So I'm going to do a taste comparison because I've got that 100 proof bourbon and the 100 proof Australian whiskey, Fortis. I'm going to taste them side by side. Kirsten, you have packages at the front desk been buying stuff. Nobody's going to have a shower, so not smelly and gross. Not that we could tell, but, appreciate the effort, bud. Safi, yes, I have recorded a 4K video. The big exciting news with the upgrade Abigail gave me, I can edit 4K really easily, which is great. So I will even upload this one. It'll be at the end of the week. My Harvey Wallbanger video will be in 4K. I'll upload that. I don't know that anyone will notice any difference, but I'll see. Kirsten, it's all booze. Abigail, next time I see Starwood twofold on sale, I will tell you. Certainly, if I'd have happened to stumble across and it's $30 off, yes. I think Dan's had it at like $5 off or something like that. But yeah, the Nova at $30 off was wild. Yeah, the Nova's still $25 off. And I have to admit, I kind of thought it was a mistake when I first saw it. But it's not. So, yeah, that's not bad. Heine, got a software upgrade for 4K videos. No, I got a hardware upgrade. The previous hardware on my computer couldn't process 4K video. I couldn't edit because there was too much information for the processor and the video would just stutter and I couldn't edit. But now I can edit in 4K. Safa, I should know the dance catalog off by heart. I do check the spirits when speaking. Hey, Annette, welcome back. Oh, no. Kirsten, you took your bra off and now you have to put it back on. That's to go and get your packages, is it? In fact, I finished my fruit juice. I was having pineapple and coconut and lemonade. Right? Might actually do. I actually put the whiskeys in the freezer so they'd be cold. Actually, I probably should have put them on ice because it's nice to have them on ice. Oh, nice. A net full of cocktail cheese and bickies. That sounds excellent. That sounds like an excellent life choice. I might make an old fashioned with the Knob Creek, but I want to taste it straight first. We'll get some shot glasses. And see what's what, hey? Where's the shot glasses? There they are. Come here, shot glasses. All right, 2 shot glasses. Get 2 whiskeys. Ooh, they feel very cold. That's cold whiskey. Really running out of the Fortis. Probably won't replace that straight away because I got the Nova. Noog, hey, how you doing? Safa, does State of Origin start tomorrow? Don't know, don't care. Not my bag. God, that's made the stopper stick. Come on. Come on. God damn. Wow, that was a friggin' effort. Okay. Little smooch of Fortis. Australia zone. Melbourne zone. Fuck me. Okay. Now the Knob Creek. Pride of where? Where's it come from? Handcrafted in limited quantity for superior taste and smoothness. Product of USA. Distilled and bottled. Knob Creek Distillery, Claremont, Kentucky. It's Kentucky bourbon. Kentucky. And the stopper in this is so fucking hard to get out. They had the wax tip thing, but they were the nice people who put one of the things in you can pull around so it comes off easily, because I really fucking hate, but still the stopper does not want to come out. I got the stopper off before I just stiffed it. I haven't tasted it though. Oh, that's convoluted, Safa. You live in New South Wales, but go for Queensland because you still live in Victoria. Okay. All right, come on. Come on. Let's go, Knob. Knob Creek with your fucking stubborn stopper. All right. Let us see what is what on the whiskey front. Okay, so holding them up. They look almost identical. What do we got aroma-wise? Oh my God. I love the smell of Fortis. I think, I don't know, Starwood has turned on my whiskey tasting senses because I never used to be into it. Now I really am. What's the... Oh, it's just good. And the Knob Creek? Knob Creek's a bit sharper on the nose. It's kind of similar with those, the obvious whiskey caramel sort of notes. It's a bit sharper. Oh God, Fortis is much more well-rounded. It feels like it's more... Okay, so I've never tried Knob Creek. So I'm going to try the Knob Creek. It is pretty good. It is actually pretty good. Sorry, that wasn't even the whiskey that made me cough. That was me breathing made me cough. No predictions for who we get running the US. No, I don't do predictions. We had this whole discussion where it's like predicting is a mug's game. I think if okay, Chris is putting a 10 on Biden, and I admire your confidence. Yes. Okay, maybe I'll have to send you some. I have to send you something, Chris. Look, okay, this is what I could do. Okay, it's payback. Look, I've got this tiny bottle that used to have a sample of Nova in it when I drank, but now I've got a big thing of Nova. Are you a whiskey drinking? Oh, wait, Chris, you don't drink alcohol, do you? Sorry. But anyway, Kentucky's Knob Creek. It's very bourbon. It's pretty good, though. Like, it's a higher proof. Like, that's 20% higher than normal. It's a little bit spicy. It's a little bit sort of smoky in there, which I guess is like the barrel. It's pretty good. Pretty good. I'm going to make an old fashioned with that. Definitely see what it's like. Safa, I can taste the Kentucky. Can definitely taste the Kentucky in this. It's got a really standard bourbon taste, like the caramel and the whatnot. I'm really shit at describing drinks. Safa, it tastes like smoky barbecue KFC. That's the KFC it smells like. Tastes like limited edition smoky barbecue KFC. Now, if I have straight after the Fortis, oh my God, that's good. Oh my God, that's like, just have this sort of almost popcorn flavor, almost like caramel popcorn. Oh my God, that's good. Does it? The Knob Creek is a bit sharper, which is typical of bourbons, I find. They're sharper than the Australian whiskies. They're very similar in flavor profile. I just feel like Fortis has a fuller flavor than an American bourbon. It's almost fruity. I think they actually say that it's almost fruity in the flavors. I think that's some of the character from the wine barrels that they age it in. Yeah, honestly, I would say I think Fortis and for that matter the other Starward products, I think they have a more complex flavor than most American bourbons. Now, again, there are hundreds of American bourbons, and they all have variations in style. And I'm sure if there was a mad bourbon drinker here, they'd immediately be saying, "Oh no! You want complex? You got to try bleh." And they would wait. There are 3 dots on my screen. What are they? I think that's a new feature. Exit solo layout or mute. Okay. I didn't pay full attention to it. The people who make StreamYard mentioned, I think, you think that's what it, okay, thank you, Kirsten. Why bourbon tastes a bit sharper is they are aged in new oak barrels, whereas the Starward products are aged in wine barrels. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kirsten. So that's where I think the Starward products are getting a fuller sort of flavor going on. That's an interesting one, Megalich. If Trump loses, do you think he'll step down days before Biden's inauguration so Pence can give him a pardon? What would he pardon him for? He's not under indictment at the moment. Trump's big danger is to be placed under indictment after he is private citizen Trump and has no protections. Thank you, Kirsten. That was correct. Okay, so yes, Starward products are aged in wine barrels, and one of the rules for bourbon is they have to be aged in new oak barrels, but they do burn the inside of the barrels. That's where we get the color from. So that imparts flavor and color that the wood in the barrels has actually been burned. But because it's new oak, it's, as Kirsten said, it makes it a bit sharper. But and look, this is all going to come down to personal taste as well. Personally, I rank the fuller flavor of the Starward products higher than I do the slight sharpness in the bourbon and rye whiskies from America. I've also got a 100 proof Rittenhouse rye over there, another American. But I've done a taste test between it and other whiskies before, and rye has an almost spicy note to it. which goes very well in mixed drinks as far as I'm concerned. There's this thing some people say you should, to really get the taste, you want to have the drink on your tongue and inhale across it, and it sort of gets the vapor. I can't do that without choking. I don't know what it is about me, but I got told that's the thing you do. I can't do it. I choke. I chokey doke. Oh, I got a thing here. All right, my little thank you notes from alcohol purveyors are over there. What a fun collection to get from a lockdown. Whole bunch of notes from alcohol purveyors saying, "Thank you, Andrew, for buying our booze." I'm like, "You're welcome." Old fashioned 31, 49. Wow. I want to see how this guy recommends making an old fashioned. I mean, it's fairly basic, but there's often a few things. Where are we? Old fashioned. I want to know where the recipe is, not where the references to it are. 60 and 90. That is not the recipe. Where's the recipe? Give me the shits. Absinthe frappe. Jesus. Where is it? 95.96. Ah, whiskey. Thank you. Sazerac. Dixie Cocktail. What's a Dixie Cocktail? Bourbon, simple syrup, curacao bitters, creme de menthe. Wow, that actually sounds kind of interesting. It says whiskey is what beer wants to be when it grows up. Give the shits that I can't find just an old fashioned. 106, 108. There we go. Old fashioned. The cocktail version of comfort food. 2 Oz. Just a little bit of simple syrup. Okay. And bitters. Okay. It's a smaller amount of sugar syrup though. Ooh, Chris, you got some apple cider. Nice. Ooh, Annette, you got into the Hendrix Midsummer Gin. Nice. Nobody, you're back and clean? You don't miss much. We've been having the usual sorts of conversation. I was just doing some whiskey. God, sorry, I just had not even a shot of whiskey. Like, I had about a third of a shot. So somewhere between half and 2/3 of a shot overall. And I can feel it. Whoosh. Okay. Like, not drunk as such, but I can feel the alcohol I consumed in that taste test. Right, I'm going to just quickly look at the difference guide. The Old Faithful online. Old Medgarized old-fashioned Godfather. Okay, I actually have to look at that. And Difford's recipe for an old-fashioned is only 1.5. Ooh, that's interesting. They say split it. 1.5 ounces bourbon and 1/2 of rye and 10 mils of... I actually don't have dark sugar. And bitters. Right dilution, good chill. No, I don't want to do it with just the Knob Creek this time. Might do a split base in the future. But what's in a Madgerized old-fashioned Godfather? Bourbon, rye split, and Scotch. And a medium dry Madeira. Which is a Spanish wine, I think. Portuguese. Okay, sorry. Madeira wine is Portuguese. Fortified wine made on the Portuguese Madeira Islands off the coast of Africa. There you go. So you love the old-fashioned. Yes, okay. Annette, you love the old-fashioned. And sorry, hi Shieldsy, by the way. And hi Invisible Chicken. This recipe, I don't know how many whiskies you have on hand. This recipe actually says do half an ounce, like 15 mils of bourbon, half an ounce of rye whiskey, half an ounce of scotch, half an ounce of your nut liqueur. They say amaretto, but you and I would be doing Mac. And then half an ounce of a medium dry Madeira wine. That sounds really interesting. I actually see. I don't have any scotch. I'd probably substitute an Australian whiskey in there. And I don't have Madeira, but I do have sherry, which is like completely different. But yeah, it could be interesting. All right, so I am going to try an old-fashioned knob. Have an old-fashioned knob. I got to get my sugar syrup and my bitters. I'll just do Angostura. Don't want to get fussy. Yeah, I'm just going to do Angostura bitters. I'm not going to get too fussy. Oh, we're not running out of favorites. That's always a worry. Ugh. Okay, so on Angostura. I want a glass and some ice. Glass. Gotta get some ice. Do my invisible ice. Why not indeed? Use up some of my invisible ice. So stuck in like a little nipple. You can't really see it. Oh, sugar syrup. Where is the sugar syrup? Where is the sugar syrup? It's back here. Okay. I think this is a sugar syrup. I'll do a little taste test. Oh, actually, I should do agave. I'm going to do agave syrup. Okay. Just for fun. All right. Alrighty, so. Oh God, where's my jigger? Do 2 ounces of it. Okay. Now I've got everything. Got my jigger. Where my jigger's at? Annette, you bought Aperol. A spritz is good with Aperol. And in fact, a sour is good with Aperol. Aperol with optional egg white. That is pretty good. All right, so 2 ounces of Knob Creek. 100 proof. I don't have any orange peel to squeeze on top, which makes me feel a bit sad. But now I want to stir in some sugar syrup. 2 spoons. Want to get about 10 mils of sugar syrup in there. I wonder if I just overdid. I might have put too much sugar syrup in, but I can survive. Whew. And just some bitters. All right. Slightly disappointed I don't have any orange to spritz over it, because I think that makes a big difference. Hey, Celtic King. So this is an old-fashioned knob. You see you've got like a little iceberg in there. You can see it sticking out over the top. It's definitely making a knob. And it's completely invisible in the drink, which is nice. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that is pretty good. Oh, my God. That is actually pretty good. For such a simple drink, an old-fashioned is fucking great. Oh, no, that is good. Probably, yeah, I might have gone a little bit over the top with the agave syrup. It's not really detracting from it, but I could have survived with slightly less agave syrup in there. I was very haphazard with the measure for the agave syrup, but oh, that's good. You got slightly spicy from the uh, bourbon, and this real richness uh, from the sugar syrup, and just the bitters on top. Oh, this is really good. This is really good. Kirsten, yes, I was deliberately using knob repeatedly while talking about an old-fashioned knob. Celtic King, I have not heard from AZ for a couple of days, so I don't think we're seeing him tonight, but I don't know. Probably should call him, actually. Locust Trooper, hello. How are you doing? Oh, wow. Invisible Chicken, you found an email from the NDIS in a folder. You never check because stuff doesn't actually get sent to you, didn't think. Oh, no. All right. Hopefully it's not a huge drama and can be managed. Okay. Well, I am just putting it out there to the universe. I am really glad I made an old-fashioned to test out this Knob Creek because it's really good. Oh, that is good. That is good. Like, it's pretty good straight. Like I said, I definitely prefer the Starwood straight, but the Knob Creek was pretty good straight. But fucking old-fashioned, man. Oh, no, that email's from a month ago. Oh, no. No, got to run some errands. Take care, birdie. Locust Trooper, you can put a bet on Biden. You put $200 on Biden. Ugh, why not? Well, on more than one level, I hope that works out for you. It'd be nice to see you get a bit of coin, and it would be nice for the world if Trump went bye-byes. Because he sucks so much. Yes, he sucks. You know what doesn't suck? Old-fashioned. I think I want to try a version of that one. They were saying the Madeira-ized old-fashioned Godfather, and do a split. Do some of the half an ounce of the Starwood, half an ounce of the Knob Creek, half an ounce of Rittenhouse Rye, half an ounce of Mac, and then what could I do? I could do sherry. I could do vermouth. Got Maiden Eye Classic, and I haven't used that for ages. Maybe I'll do it with vermouth, actually. Then it becomes a weird Godfather in Manhattan. Invisible Chicken, your mum likes the Starwood Nova, but had it with Schweppes soda water, which is apparently fizzier than Coles. Oh, there you go. Like I said, I would throw out, spend an extra $1 or $2. You can get it usually from the bottle shops that are attached to the supermarkets. The Cappy tonic water. I had it with some Nova, and it was really nice. What happens if Joe Biden dies? You replace him. He's vice president. It's absolutely straightforward. Kamala Harris would be I was going to say prime minister. Kamala Harris would be president if Joe Biden dies or decides he has to retire because of poor health. It's absolutely straightforward. That's why the vice president exists, in case something happens to the president. Sorry, I just missed nobody. What bet do you want to lose? You want to put a bet on Trump. I love that. You feel like you can't lose. if you lose the bet, he's gone. If you win the bet, you get some cash. You'd rather lose the bet. But I like that thing about can't lose. Invisible Chicken couldn't get the Cappy or Fever Tree. Look, just I guess keep an eye out. My local Coles, I don't know if they're special, but they got lots of different flavors of Fever Tree, and I got the Cappy just from the BWS that was attached to the Woolies supermarket. Locust Trooper, Biden has said categorically he only intends to be president for one term, and that is because of his age. So who knows what he would decide in the future if he had won the election, but he has gone on record as saying he would only be president for one term, and that is because of his age. Oh, Cole. Oh, well, Invisible Chicken, all I can suggest is keep looking. Oh, God, you know what occurred to me the other day, Invisible Chicken, talking about non-alcoholic beverages that potentially taste like alcoholic beverages, like the Liars drinks that you'd been getting. In the cooking section in the supermarket, I mean, check to make sure, but when all the other flavors, sometimes they have brandy flavor essence and whiskey flavor essence, and those are non-alcoholic, which is really funny because all the other flavoring essences are between 20 and 40% or sometimes more alcohol. And I think the reason the ones that are described as brandy essence and whiskey essence have no alcohol is because, the supermarket's not allowed to sell alcohol, and those have whiskey and brandy in the name. So if for the supermarket to sell them, they have to be zero alcohol. But check, because maybe there is some alcohol content in the ones, and they might not even have them. But I have seen them in the past and found it interesting that in the cooking section in the supermarket, if they have whiskey flavor essence and brandy flavor essence, there's no alcohol in them. Celtic King, what's the church for tax exemption? You would not be the most cynical person in the world if you did that. Stella, you got Home Before Dark. Nice. How, Stella, when it gets to the longest day for you, at what time is it dark on like the longest day where you are? Because I know you don't have daylight saving. So I'm interested in what the local time is on the longest day. What do you think? Yes, Abigail, vanilla essence, full of alcohol. Lemon essence, full of alcohol. Most of the cooking essences are at least 20 to 40% alcohol. And hey, you reckon Aperol has no taste? Oh, wow, you don't have bitter receptors or something. I'd like Aperol, but it's renowned for being bitter. Yes, mouthwash. Oh, Invisible Chicken. No, it will say it on the bottle of the essence what alcohol content it is. They have to. They actually have to say the percentage of alcohol in it. Like Stu, we've had this conversation a few times. I don't make predictions. It's a mugs game. Obviously, I want Biden to win, but I think anyone who isn't bracing themselves for a Trump win is opening themselves up to a world of hurt. Stella, you reckon it's dark at 6 p.m.? I would guess, and this is based on an absolute lack of knowledge, but I would have guessed on the longest day it gets dark somewhere around 8 p.m. or 7:30. But I actually have nothing to base that, because here it gets local time. It gets dark at 9 p.m. on the longest day. Okay, that was a winning choice. And what's the time now? It's only 9:10. Oh my God. I have to be careful and resist the urge to really have more drinks because I gotta work tomorrow. I wonder if I have meetings tomorrow. I don't know. My regular morning meeting where I just chat to my team. Ooh, Locust Trooper, you had trouble with your CPU overheating. Well, I've run my first tests, and it rendered a simple video quite fast, like a 6-minute HD video. Only took about a minute or two to render. I did a complex one, like one with filters and effects and whatnot. And that normally takes ages. And I think that rendered faster, but I'm not very scientific in the measurement of that. And then I went the big test. Can I edit in 4K? Can this processor just play 4K video effortlessly and let me edit it? And yes, I can. So that was the big test, and I'm happy with that. Philosopher, it gets dark about 8 p.m. where you are? Okay. Yeah, Kirsten's confirming about 8 p.m. Oh, that's right, because you're from Western Australia, Kirsten. Really? You're in Kalgoorlie? Sunset's at 6:57 and the solstice. I suppose there's also a difference between sunset and when it's actually dark, because the difference between sunset and actually dark on the longest days is usually at least half an hour as well. Megaleech, I went fucking nowhere authenticating my Windows. I want to fucking assassinate people from fucking Microsoft right now. Because daylight savings freaked out West Australians because they didn't eat at 7 p.m. anymore. Yikes. And Kalgoorlie as a whole. I don't actually think Stella's going to argue that about Kalgoorlie. Yep. There was a mild temptation to make another whiskey drink, like probably that Godfather, an old-fashioned Godfather. I'm going to make, oh my God, I'm making that for my YouTube channel. That's a video I'm making next week. Oh, fuck yeah. Friday night, I'll do that. That is a video I'm definitely making for my YouTube channel. Call it an old-fashioned Godfather in Manhattan. It's going to have 3 different whiskeys, Mac, and Maiden Eye Classic Vermouth. Yeah. Yeah. Oh God! For some reason, I'm really excited by that I had that idea. That's sort of come from me. Give it its own name, and I just think that is a funny, quirky name for a cocktail. An old-fashioned Godfather in Manhattan. I like it. So it's quite because when I made a Manhattan with all Australian ingredients, which immediately made me think of Crocodile Dundee because he goes to Manhattan. And so I was talking on the live stream about, call it an Australian in Manhattan or Crocodile Dundee. And Azy just went, no, it should be called That's Not a Knife. And so I did that. I made that for my YouTube channel and said, this is a drink called That's Not a Knife because it's an Australian Manhattan. Oh, dear. No, but if you have old Windows, 7 product keys often activate Windows 10 with them. Actually, you know what I should actually... Because this PC was originally built 3 years ago, so fuck knows where the Windows disk is. I've definitely had it, but I don't know where it is. But Young Ms. Angry might have a Windows thing with a key on it, and that might work. I don't know. Annette, you like the name? Nice. And no, I have not been to Manhattan, which I'm kind of sad about. I would like to go. Oh, wow, you have a really different latitude, Stella. 30.7 degrees versus 37.8, and Earth is 31.9. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because, yeah, the closer you get to the equator, the less variance. I mean, like, I don't know if this is true, but I think I was told at some point that the equator, they have like the 12-hour days most of the year? I know you can get a new key and disk image for $20 to $30 on eBay. Yeah, but I shouldn't have to pay a goddamn motherfucking cunting thing. Fucking Microsoft with this fucking horseshit of, we don't recognize. Like, get fucked, you fucking rancid pigs. I hate them so fucking much. So just fucking believe me, you fucking cunts. It's just like, fuck you, you fucking cunts. Ugh. So for when you were 2, you went to the US, and they thought you were a girl, not a boy. Had to redo your US visa before you're an Aussie. Oh dear. Safa because the closer you get to the poles, summer goes really fucking late. Okay, so in Siberia it's nearly midnight. I know Mrs. English telling me, like, in London, summer goes past 10. Definitely goes past 10 p.m. And it's like the closer you get to the equator, the less variance there is between winter and summer. Stella, you were typing a salient point about the 7-degree difference in latitude when your asshole cat escaped out the dog door. Oh no, indicator. Oh no. Lex Trooper, I'm definitely glad I upgraded the computer. It's going to perform much better now. And yeah, we shall see what we see. If I, spend a bit more time fucking around on videos, who knows? Fuck around and find out, as the saying goes. Actually, that's usually a really negative saying. Cest la vie. It was very warm. The air conditioning has kicked on. It's only on low, but there's a nice, consistent, cool breeze moving past me now. Like, it's not cold. It's just a cool breeze, which is really refreshing. It's been fucking hot today. I spent an enormous chunk of the day playing Red Dead Redemption 2. It's like a day off. Just, you can spend a couple hours sitting on the couch and playing Red Dead Redemption 2. Making my Arthur Morgan be a very noble man. Ooh, nice. Kirsten, you have a photo that you took at midnight at Sweden, and it was broad daylight. Yes. And you get the opposite in winter. You get some places that have almost no sunlight in winter, or literally no sunlight in winter if you're right up at the pole, where you get the absolutely awesome, gross and terrifying horror movie 30 Days of Night, an incredibly violent vampire movie where these old Eurotrash vampires suddenly work out, hey, there's a place in Alaska that's full night for 30 days. If we cut off their communication with the outside world, we could just feast on the residents for 30 days with no interruption. And I always thought, like, when I've never read or seen Twilight. I've never read the books. It's just, life's too short to, for me, it's just a personal dream. Life is too short to dedicate hours to trash like that. So I've never seen or read any of the Twilight stuff, but when I read the thing, actually, the writer was a Mormon, and it was fucking. She's actually, like, she said she'd never seen a vampire movie or read a vampire book, and so she just made up these really fucking awful, sparkly vampires. And I just thought, hey, have you ever seen the movie A Clockwork Orange, where the bad guy gets strapped for aversion therapy? The guy gets strapped into a chair with this stuff holding his eyes open, so he can't close his eyes, and they're just, like, occasionally putting eye drops in his eyes to moisten them while forcing him to see lots and lots of violent films. It's aversion therapy. And that's what I wanted to do to Stephanie Myers, really. Strap her into a chair so she can't move, can't get out, can't move her head, and prop her eyes open, and make her watch 30 Days of Night in IMAX. And that's what she fucking needs. Stella, you lived in Tassie and it was 42 degrees. Ooh, seemed like Twilight went on about to. Actually, I reckon that's right. down the south of Tassie, twilight would hang around for a long time in summer. Yes. Nobody, you don't have aircon. Oh, God, your front wall faces the afternoon sun. Oh, that'd get a bit brutal in summer, honestly. Still, you went from Kalgoorlie to Ireland in November. Wasn't light until about 9 a.m. Dark as a dog's guts by 4 p.m. Yes, the UK gets very short days in winter. That's where you get the seasonal affective disorder, SAD. No fucking sunlight for months. Oh, wow. Invisible Chicken, you were supposed to read A Clockwork Orange. Even wrote a short essay about it, but never read the whole book. Cheeky. Chris, you've got your AC next year. That's fine. We've got ducted aircon and heating in this house, which is nice. The aircon does not cope very well with the really hot summer days, but on the mildly warm days, it's very good. Like the 40, 45 degree days, we have to really nurse the fucking aircon along so it doesn't trip circuit breakers. It's a real fucking pain, actually. Something about how it was put in, the electrician fucked it up, and just when it really starts to work, it tells the circuit breakers like, oh no, it's using too much power, and it trips the circuit breakers. It fucking sucks shit. I really dislike it. So you get sad living in Ballarat. Yeah, that might just be Ballarat, though. Let's make you feel that. So here in the Victorian power system's third world. This has nothing to do with the Victoria power system. This has got to do with the wiring in this house. Kirsten, you're still in a hotel with amazing aircon. Nice. Yes, I think you're right, Stella. Everyone in Ballarat has the SADs. It's just a byproduct of living in Ballarat. Oh, I'm just really impressed at my self-control, because every now and then, maybe I should make a drink. No, I don't really need to. I don't drink. I feel good. I was actually pretty good on Saturday night too. It was date night. We got Mexican food, and because Mrs. Angry's having this trouble with heartburn, like, acid reflux, so she has to cut like a whole bunch of stuff out of her diet, and that includes alcohol at the moment. It was like we'd normally have cocktails on date night, and that's a bad idea for her at the moment. So we got dinner from a Mexican place and ordered to pick up, and they said, do you want like 2 frozen margaritas for $5? And I went, I want 2 frozen margaritas for $5. They're just little ones, right? And I had both of them. And I could feel it. They're only little, but I think they weren't shy with the tequila because I could feel it after having these 2 frozen margaritas. Flux Trump 2020. Honestly, that's a distinctly possible thing. I had these 2 frozen margaritas. I had one of my bottled old-fashioned. Did I have anything else? That might have been it. I might have had one of my clarified. But I found myself going, okay, I'm a bit schlocked at the moment. And I'll just stop. We were watching Queen's Gambit on Netflix, which, by the way, that gets an absolute recommendation. That's a compelling show. It's like 7 episodes. I've watched 5 of them so far, like 1-hour episodes. It's compelling about this young Czech prodigy ingenue in the 60s. It's really good. It's very compelling. So yeah, I got sort of thinking, sloshed again, and I could have easily had a couple more drinks. I just won't. I'll just sit here and watch this. So I feel like my self-control is pretty good at the moment. Kirsten, you were too hungover to drink on Saturday. Oh no. And water's for fish, not for you. Yeah, fish fucking water. You don't want to drink that stuff. Safa, you may be joking. Do I go outside with my pale skin? Short answer, no, I do not. The sun fucking ages you, man. Like last time I was in Dubbo, which is a very brutally sunny place in summer. And I used to always stay outside. I caught up with the guy, he's like a friend from school, and he looked fucking 10 years older than me. Just the wrinkles, the sun had dried out his skin. So the sun fucking ages you. There is a picture I've seen online of a truck driver. And you know how truck drivers get sun on one side of their face from driving? It's an American truck driver, and it's like almost down the middle of his face. One side of his face looks 20 years older than the other side of his face. It's fucking weird. It's a really fucking weird. Safa, Dubbo's the fucking outback, man. There is fucking nothing around. Dubbo is a pretty big town, but there is nothing around Dubbo. Dubbo is the fucking outback, man. It's like 800 kilometers west of Sydney. And you go west of Dubbo, and there is fuck all, man. Only just really small towns. Dingle Doty, thank you for dropping by and saying hi. It's always a pleasure. Yes, Invisible Chicken, avoiding the sun, your skin doctor will love you. You think my face looks white, man. You should see my legs and my tummy, for that matter. So white, they never get the sun. Like, even when I was at school, I never wore shorts in summer. Everyone else wore shorts. I'd wear jeans, and so I have these fucking snow white legs. I'm just not a sun person. Ooh, Safi, you rode a bike from Shep to your mum's town. Side of your face was burned for a week. Yep, it's real easy to do. There was also a joke back in the olden days, before the internet, companies would have sales reps, sales representatives, people whose sole job was to drive around to potential buyers of a company's product and try and convince them to buy it. Now, sales reps, 99% of those jobs have disappeared because people do their shopping on the internet now, and people do their marketing on the internet now. So sales reps have almost completely disappeared. But they were a thing until the noughties, really. They started to die out in the 90s as the internet picked up. And then certainly by 2010, the internet had fucking killed sales reps. But sales reps used to drive around all day. So you get sales reps that have one permanently sunburned arm. You call it truck driver's arm or sales rep's arm. This arm would be pale and this arm would be burnt perpetually. Abigail, teenagers are the worst for what? Or just generally? Because, yeah, teenagers. Oh, the teenagers are the worst for sunburn, or teenagers are just the worst? Safi family's plumbing shop has selling reps. Yeah, I didn't say they were all gone, but everyone used to have. Kirsten, you hate sales reps. Everyone used to have sales reps, and the internet killed at least 90% of sales rep jobs. So, like basically every company used to have sales reps, and they would just go out and try and sell. And the internet killed 90% of that. It's a different world now. The different world. So it's just the way it is. All right, I should put these drinks back. Oh, I'll do it after the stream. So there's not much of that left, is there? Like, I've been keeping my booze spreadsheet up to date, and bought about 80 bottles since I started it in February. So that's basically it averages at 8 bottles a month. And okay, to be fair, when I say 80 bottles, like 10 of those have been sample size rather than full size. But so it averages at about 8 bottles a month. Some months are less, some months are more, but yeah, over 10 months, the average was almost exactly 8, because I bought almost exactly 80 bottles. And I finished about 15 of them so far. This ain't lasting much longer. My pre-bottled old fashions aren't lasting much longer. But it was just a thing. It was just a thing. Heine, in computer realm, sales reps go to YT tech channels, and they have to be very careful to be impartial, that the channels criticize them if it's merited. Fair enough. Abigail. Oh, God. Oh, yes. Teenagers who think their logic is infallible. Basically, anyone who thinks their logic's infallible are fucking the worst. Megalich, you told your friend's brother who became a sales rep how much you hate sales rep. Fair enough. That's true, Dingle Doty. Sales reps may be gone, but Jehovah's Witnesses will still show up to bother you. Not in lockdown. They're not allowed to. They're not allowed to. It's been a blessed relief that they don't come around because they're not allowed to. Safi, you've been drinking less beer because there was no Aussie rules to watch along to. Unintended side benefits. Oh, God, I noticed on Twitter the other day, fuckhead Alexander Downer, absolute failure of former Liberal leader who was leader of the opposition for a very short time before fucking Paul Keating eviscerated him so much they got rid of him. Like, he never stood for an election. He was only opposition leader, never actually led the party to an election, not even to a defeat. But he's a fucking loser. And he goes on Twitter and says, oh, it's remarkable that, you know, there's like almost no flu cases this year. It's like, dude, you don't know what the word remarkable means. Like, the fact that we had almost no flu cases was a direct and somewhat unexpected, or at least unplanned for, benefit of all the restrictions we had in place for COVID. No one got colds or flu this year either, even though at the start of the flu season it was shaping up to be a bad one, and then the cases just dropped off. And he's going like, I don't know if he's trying to be conspiratorial about, you know, if he's getting into some weird fucking COVID conspiracy. But it's like, dude, it's not remarkable. It's cause and effect. And it's not new. Everyone said this at the start of flu season. Like, right at the first month of flu season, there'd been a sharp uptick in cases that made it look like it was going to be a bad flu season. Then we had lockdown and flu cases just went patunch. And Alexander Downer is a fucking moron. Abigail, you knew a guy at uni who was a young Liberal. That's a bad start. After he graduated, he became an insurance salesman. Couldn't stop laughing in his face when he told me, yep, that's and that's like a winning path for someone like that. Jesus. Oh, Safa, you meant to play, not to watch. You used to play. Okay, yes. Playing with your local sporting team is a big alcohol imbibing event. I get you. Safa, I think possibly more people than usual got flu shots once we heard about COVID, because I got a flu shot. I didn't even get a cold this winter. A couple of days I felt a bit phlegmy and a bit on, but nothing that ever lasted. In fact, okay, I think the only days I woke up feeling a bit phlegmy, like, is this a cold? Do I have the Rona? It's because I drank a lot on a stream the night before, and when I drink a lot, I tend to think with my mouth open, and it dries my throat and lungs out. And according to Mrs. Angry, it makes me snore a lot too. And breathing through my mouth, and so my mouth and throat and lungs are dry. And I wake up in the morning and everything's all fucking gross and stuff. And it takes quite a few hours to recover and feel normal. And it feels like, this is a cold? This is a flu? I got the Rona? It's like, no, I just slept with my mouth open last night because I had a few drinkies on the live stream. So we've had a little anti-snoring. I think I've mentioned this before. Anti-snoring thing I stick up my nose. It's not that effective if I have a lot of drinks on the live stream. So I have to remember that if, like this Friday or Saturday night, if I drink a lot, I probably need to be polite and sleep on the lounge rather than going to bed. Because if I go to bed, I'll wake up Mrs. Angry with a snoring and I'll be fucking comatose once I go to sleep. And she can like nudge me and I just won't fucking move. So I probably need to be polite and sleep on the lounge if I have a few drinks. The other thing that happened with this stupid and nose thing, because it goes up there, it's fine, and I go to sleep, and I'm like, and it's like I've got a really hard booger in my nose, and like, what's that? And a couple of times in my sleep, I've taken it out And in the morning I woke up and I had a dream. I thought it was morning, and I woke up and took this thing out of my nose and stuck it on the bedside table. But it was the middle of the night. I was thinking, Locust Trooper, I don't know if you want to make cunt comments about my hair, then go for it. I don't know what reaction you expect making cunty comments like that, but, you know, you do you. Dingle Dodie grew up in the Scottish Highlands, one of the really rural areas. Still showed up the Jehovah's Witnesses still showed up every summer, drag their kids on. Oh yeah, the J-Dubs and who else does it? Seventh-day Adventists? Oh no, they do it. They tend to have 3 generations or even 4 generations go along a family, because there's always someone you won't be rude to. Some people won't be rude to an old person. Someone won't be rude to a woman who looks like a mother, and some people won't be rude if there's someone young or a kid there. Locust Trooper, you are not being nice. That is a cunt comment, okay? If your social cues are that bad, you need to be told that. I'm telling you, that's a cunt comment, okay? And that's something you need to realize. So, yeah, that's why the Jehovah's Witnesses and similar have multi-generational people come to your door, because you're less likely to be rude, because everyone has a thing where there's someone they don't want to be rude around, whether it's an old person, like a mother, or a young person. They don't want to be rude around them. And it's really sick manipulative stuff. Curse and rude to everyone to keep things even. Well, at least that would keep things even, definitely. Locust Trooper, I'm perfectly calm. I'm just telling you that's a cunt comment, and you're not going to get any reply apart from you're a cunt saying things like that, okay? This is me calm. It's as simple as that. So you make cunt comments, I'm going to tell you you're being a cunt, okay? It's that fucking simple. There's at least 2. In fact, with Mormons travel in pairs. They're different. There'll usually be 2 young men with Mormons. Jehovah's Witnesses is usually at least 3, and they will all be different generations. And like I said, it's a bit of psychological manipulation, because they've figured out everyone has like a weak spot of someone they don't want to be rude to. I had a funny thing, because for the last, 15 years, I've been living in like the most Jewish part of Melbourne. I've been from East St Kilda to Caulfield. This whole corridor is like the most Jewish part of Melbourne. And particularly East St Kilda is more Jewish than where I am now in Caulfield. And and when these J-Dubs came around, and I fucking had a go at them, and I was like, fuck you. You know this is a Jewish area. You coming around spouting this shit is rude as fuck. Get the fuck out. And I'm not Jewish. Actually, some people think I look Jewish, but when I had my hair dyed because it was dark. It's just as simple as that. That makes some people think I'm Jewish. In fact, that makes some Jewish people think I'm Jewish. So I actually had fun tearing into the Jehovah's Witnesses, saying, fuck you people, you know this is a Jewish neighborhood. You coming around spouting this shit is rude as fuck. Get the fuck out. Locust Trooper, apologies, fine. I'm just telling you, okay? So if you say something like that, it's a real cunty comment, and I'm going to just tell you, you're being a cunt. It's that simple. So you're not actually rude. You just like to play games. Oh my God, I had a friend who was like the worst. Would invite Mormons or J-Dubs in, and the game was make them want. Don't be awful. Don't be rude. Don't be gross. But just be so intense and so into it, make them want to leave. It's a pretty evil thing to do, honestly. But I have a lot of evil friends, so that's the. Oh yeah, no, but I agree. J-Dubs are definitely a cult. It makes no sense. You look at the J-Dub belief system, the Mormon belief system, whatnot. It's like it's indistinguishable from mass hysteria and mental illness. It's weird. It's absolutely weird. Chris, you think that sounds like fun? I remember a story a couple of years ago. A guy dosed, and again, giving people drugs without their consent is bad. Kind of might sound funny on the surface, but it's bad. And this guy dosed some Mormons with hash cookies he had, like invited them in, have a cup of tea, have some biscuits I've just made. And apparently they're pretty strong hash cookies. Because a couple of hours later, the Mormons were feeling very weird, went to hospital and stuff. And they said, it must have been because he was the only guy who gave them anything to eat all day. And like, because someone's saying, like, you're on drugs. Did anyone give you anything? Oh, this one guy gave us chocolate chip cookies. I went, yep, that was it. And so, yeah, he got arrested. He got criminal charges, which he should have. You don't, even if it sounds funny, you don't give drugs to someone without their consent. Although still, personally, I would have denied it. When the cops came around, he just said, yeah, I did. Oh, boy, that's a really serious criminal offense. I would have gone, no, you know what you're talking about. Prove it, motherfucker. Do I hate people who call people social justice warriors just for fighting for human rights? Yes, that's true. Nobody... Oh, yeah, I think, yeah, there are some very scary abuses in J-Dubs. You saw a movie about cults. Yeah, J-Dubs have some bad shit go on, definitely. Kirsten, you witnessed a 17-year-old getting pulled out of year 12 6 weeks before exams to get married. Oh, yeah, they do that sort of forced marriage shit. And I bet the dude she's been forced to marry was a lot older, too. Still, you reckon there was greed was a deadly sin? They ate too many of the hash cookies. Chris, you had attractive lady J-Dubs come to your house. The one thing I did, I remember, this is when I was at college, living with my girlfriend, and we were in bed. And someone knocked at the door, and I thought, I better see who that is. And I opened it, and it was fucking J-Dubs. And I was like, ugh. I went, go away. I was in bed. I'm going back to bed, and shut the door. And they tried to be magnanimous about it. Went, oh, you're so lucky. But they had to walk past our bedroom door, our bedroom window. So I jumped into bed, and I just told my girlfriend, I was J-Dubs. Oh, let's hear it. Just start bouncing up and down and start screaming, fuck me, big boy, give it to. So making the bed squeak and shouting all these really dumb sex lines as they walk past the bedroom window. Oh, so childish. So childish. Oh, yeah, she was 17-year-old forced to marry a dude in his 30s. Yeah, no, that's abuse. That's creepy, creepy, creepy abuse. Where did Celtic King go? I don't know. He was out, and then he wasn't. Dingle Dodo, you recall an exchange at uni with Mormons on the street. Didn't appreciate the loose way they were using the word crazy as someone with a mental illness. Went to town. Good. Yeah, go to town on them. Definitely. Stella, you only met female J-Dubs who are frumpy, dumpy old ladies wearing milkmaids. I know, I've met, like I said, I've had them come to do all the multi-generational, and various formations of them have included like attractive young women. Not always, but it has happened. Oh, Kirsten, you actually grew up in the church, and a bunch of your friends got married. Yeah, 17 is too young. America actually has a really bad problem with forced child marriages in Christian congregations in rural areas. And I mean kids who are 13 or 14, because it's legal in some states, getting forced to get married. Like there's this stereotype among right-wingers that you got to worry about the Muslims and the child brides and the pedophilia and whatnot. But America actually has a very serious problem with forced child marriage. In fact, I'm going to America child marriage. It auto-completed. The human trafficking search.org, child marriage in the US. Here we go. Between 2000 and 2015, over in a 5-year period, over 200,000 minors were legally married in the United States, roughly 6 children per 1,000. And the vast majority of these child marriages were between a minor girl and an adult man. Jesus. What states can you marry at 12? New Jersey and Delaware do not allow underage marriage except in exceptional circumstances. Most states have a minimum marriage age for minors with parental consent ranging from 12 to 17. California and Mississippi do not have minimum ages for minors to be allowed to marry with parental consent. That's fucked up. Is child marriage legal in 48 states? Perfectly legal in 48 states. Fuck me sideways. Jesus. Locust Trooper, I made an old-fashioned tonight because I got a new whiskey. So I had an old-fashioned Knob Creek bourbon. Yeah, Safa, the US has problems when you look at it from the outside. Nobody. Pornhub released state statistics. Apparently, a lot of people who call themselves Christian look for teen porn. Oh, I have seen those types of things where they do the top porn searches per state in the US, and there are some really troubling ones. Oh yeah, Kirsten's really wrong. And let's say, so 200,000 over 5 years, so roughly 40,000 and they're forced child. The kid's not making the choice. It's part of the environment. They're coerced into it. Roughly 40,000 a year. So in other words, not shy of 1,000 a week. And as most weddings happen on weekends, so most weekends, somewhere on average in the region of 1,000 children are being married. And it's almost all in Christian sects. So it does happen across other religious groups and probably even in non-religious groups. But far from the stereotype of there's the Muslims you got to watch out for, the overwhelming majority of them are from Christian denominations. So it's like in India they have, they're kind of forced. The arranged marriages in India, where some kids will be assigned a marriage partner when they're 5 years old, and the family certainly makes them feel like they don't have it. They don't necessarily get married when they're still minors, although I'm sure it does happen. But the marriages are arranged in a lot of cases where the children are very young and they're made to feel like they don't have any choice. Yep, the world's God. How did we get onto this fucked up topic? This is a fucked up topic. Oh well, that's the thing we do. We talk about fucked up things from time to time. Let's talk about alcohol some more. That's hardly fucked up at all. Oh dear. And I restrain myself by only having the one whiskey drink. Locust Trip, I'm not sure what the rules are in Australia. Let's look that up. Child marriage, Australia. Child marriage in Australia. Children under the age of 18 are not able to give permission to marry unless they are 16 or 17 and have permission from a court. That's interesting. So, yep, you have to be over the age of 18 years to be legally married unless you have a court order. That's good. In my book, that's good. So, yes. So, if I did see you sent me the link about rates of alcohol consumption in Europe. That's a fun thing. And they have to approximate that, I think. I'm not sure exactly how they get those numbers. Because if you ask people, they often don't tell you the truth. I mean, sorry. It's almost bedtime. Obviously, they could just do it from sales, reported sales, of course. The amount of alcohol sold per head of population. Invisible chicken, I could see that. Germany's having a problem with it due to trying to balance rights of child bride refugees and child rights. Yeah. We're talking about India. There was a very interesting character in the 20th century. Her name was, I'm probably pronouncing it terribly, as Phulan Devi. She's known as the Bandit Queen. She was forced into a child marriage, like she was under 10. And so although it was legal, she was effectively raped by the man who was her husband when she was less than 10 years old. And she eventually escaped, and she joined a bandit group, and she was a really famous and successful bandit for a long time until the authorities finally starved her out. She ended up surrendering. She did jail time, but then she ended up running for parliament and getting in. And then weirdly, after surviving all those years as a bandit, she was assassinated when she was in politics, which was wild. But I saw there was a movie, a dramatization of her life, which was called Bandit Queen. And yeah, when she joined this bandit group and eventually rose to be its leader, she did go back and find the guy who raped her as a child and got her revenge. And basically is like pointing guns at people and saying, I'm going to shoot anyone who fucking forces children into marriage, okay? That's the rule now. If I find out you're forcing children into marriage, I'm coming back and I'm fucking shooting you. And I was like, yeah, you go, girl. That's good. Nobody. Your life has been largely better off since you started to attend church. Yeah, look, dude, it is absolutely two sides to every story. It's kind of like why I don't go online going, I'm an atheist, because I just find a bunch of fuckwits do that. And I have no problem with anyone who has a fulfilling and meaningful life within a religion or faith group. It's good and positive and wholesome. Yep. And the fact that you can acknowledge that a lot of people are hurt by the people who are supposed to protect and serve them shows a very healthy outlook, in my opinion. So it's people who can't acknowledge flaws that I think are really troubling, which is why I think Friendly Jordies is weird, because he fucking worships Labour when they suck. I mean, I want them to be better, I want them to be better, but to say they're doing a good job fucking weirds me out. Absolutely weirds me out. And nobody, you say religion can be a tool for both good and evil. I think essentially anything can be both good and bad, depending how it's applied. The classic two-edged sword conundrum. What's the old saying? Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's why I think some tension in politics is required. While I feel like I can confidently say I would never vote for the Conservative political party. There's probably some weird situation where I would. But I feel pretty confident saying I'd never vote for like a majority Conservative Party. But I also realise if, for instance, the Labor Party or any other left or progressive or centre party had undisputed power for an extended period, they would sink more and more into corruption and despotism the longer they were in power. So it was, I think the tension between opposing views in politics is necessary. Good question, Heine. Was Bob Hawke's Labor worth voting for? When did Labor start to suck? Bob Hawke and Paul Keating brought neoliberalism to Australia. Now, they seemed much better because they followed Malcolm Fraser, who was hyper-conservative, and things seemed exciting and changing and whatnot with Hawke in power. But Hawke and Keating laid the neoliberal groundwork for John Howard to come along and just ass fuck working people. And just the descent into more and more conservative politics being the mainstream, that was actually, the ball was put rolling by Labor. But look, I didn't hate the Hawke Labor or Keating Labor. Didn't hate the Rudd Labor or Gillard Labor. They're still preferable by orders of magnitude to the Liberals. But I've been really pissed off by the years since Gillard, of the people running the Labor Party appearing to take the position that, if we have a bunch of non-offensive policies that kind of sort of look like the Liberal Party, but we say we're not the Liberal Party, then people will like us and vote for us, is fucking shitting me, quite honestly. And yes, I remember when Beazley was the opposition leader, he could never quite get it together. Yeah, again, he was trying to combat the hyper-conservatism of Howard by promoting these conservative neoliberal ideas. They're still preferable to the Libs, but the way they strike me is they're just scared to make a stand. They're like, we can't upset anyone. I'm like, fuck you. Inspire people, you pieces of shit. Give people something to want. Don't just say, I'm not that guy. Be something. Be something that inspires people. And I'm like, Jesus. I'm say hello and goodbye. Whereas Rudd, he wasn't an idiot. He's very smart, but he's a shithead. Rudd appeared to be a raging narcissist control freak that nobody could work with in the end. Rudd wasn't an idiot. He's a piece of shit. He was a vindictive piece of shit in the end. And the fact that Labor let him do what they let him do was fucking contemptible. So, has the Libs ever had a good policy? Malcolm Fraser was very good with refugees. I think Malcolm Fraser introduced public radio as well. John Howard didn't have any good policies. John Howard's a fucking piece of shit. Tony Abbott just didn't have policies. And yes, like it's true, Friendly Geordies does seem to love Kevin Rudd. But Kevin Rudd, by all accounts, was a megalomaniac control freak arsehole that people couldn't work with. David Brumby, I am old, my friend. I can go way back because I am old. Oh, thank you, Mega Leech. Sorry, you actually got me. I said John Howard never did anything good, but his gun buyback policy, his gun control policy, which took a fair bit of guts to do. Thank you. I'd like to be corrected. David Brumby, the question was, did the Liberal Party ever do anything good? Not this century. No, they did not. They didn't even have policies. They just fucking wreck and destroy assholes. Annette, Menzies didn't bring in free university. Menzies may have brought in government loans for students. Whitlam brought in free university. I'm almost sure that's the case. Almost sure that's the case. So, yes. Locust Trooper, did Rudd want people on the dole to join the army? That I do not know. I don't know the fine details of his policy. Don't know whether that happened or not. Anyway, it's bedtime. This really feels like a Sunday because I have to go to work tomorrow. And I didn't have to go to work today. Yay. Annette, yeah, remember that I know prior to Whitlam, people below a certain threshold. What it might have been is people below a certain threshold might have been able to get free university, but Whitlam just brought in free university. Again, more than willing to be corrected on that, but there you go, Annette. Whitlam did bring in home brewing. There you go. Nice. Stella, you're just having dinner. We're going to bed. That's what happens in years past. Yeah, that's what I mean. It was scholarships, Annette, but Whitlam straight up went universities free. There were scholarships for poor people, but yeah, Whitlam straight up said free. Yeah, no, definitely look it up because I'm not 100%. I feel pretty confident that's what it was, but who knows? Anyway, good night, one and all. Or probably, well, I'll be back tomorrow night, I think, unless something weird happens between now and tomorrow night. And we might know a bit more about which way the wind blows with the American elections tomorrow. We shall see if there are any. We might not have a definitive answer, but we might have definite trends, which might be very dangerous to believe in. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Tomorrow is, of course, another day. See you all later. Take care.